After my two videos on both Poppy Playtime chapters 3 and 4, I realised that I hadn't properly talked in depth about the first chapter. After all, it was the game that started all of this. If it wasn't for chapter 1, we wouldn't have Kissy or Catnap or this thing. And since I have no clue what FNAF is currently up to, I wanted to take a closer look at what Poppy Playtime did to be seen as such a standout. Our noble fable began way back in 2014 as a Minecraft animation channel known as Enchanted Mob began to post what else but Minecraft animations. I'm not going to act like I'm a genius in this genre, all I've really seen is stuff like this.
A little adventure of my own. Anyway, the Touch My Body challenge.
But as a small indie horror game you may know as Five Nights at Freddy's began to gain a lot of traction online. This resulted in Enchanted Mob releasing Survive the Night by controversial songwriter / groomer Mando Pony. Enchanted Mob continued posting Minecraft animations throughout many years similar to these, as well as other games like Bendy and the Ink Machine and Undertale, and I'm pretty sure Doki Doki Literature Club. With massive growth, Enchanted Mob began to grow into a small team of animators. A little bit of controversy over the team, and another animator, developer Egger Coaster, was getting bullied and harassed by the higher-ups in the team, causing conflict. But for more info on that, a lot of videos go deeper into detail about the particular situation. Please watch that after this, obviously. Around 2020, a year famous for being liked by everyone, the Enchanted Mob team worked with examinations. Someone please tell me the difference between the two channels, I have absolutely no clue. They started releasing Fazbear and Friends, a series of mini 60-second shorts of FNAF characters like Freddy, Chica, you know the fan favourites, Blue Circus Baby. Say whatever you want about how cringy or unfunny it is, it led to My Name is Jumbo Josh Bra, which led to this.
I'm not a fan of Stig or Flynn, but I have.
So who really lost in the end? The mob team eventually realised Mr. Krabs' I have an idea and put their animation and general talent into developing a game, and started development on Poppy Playtime, creating a Kickstarter to get money to fund the game. Luckily, this Kickstarter was a success and they got enough money to start with Chapter 1. During the development, we had two trailers released, one being an analog horror VHS tape of maintaining a Poppy Playtime doll and extracting what looks like a voice box. Other than something hinted at in Chapter 4 that Poppy will be dissected all the time to find out how she works. But other than that, to this day, we don't know what the removal of the voice box actually means. And another one which is much more interesting, because we see a Bron, bigger bodies form, looking at the camera. We still have yet to see any resolution to what this is, unless you count the random statue puzzle in that Isle of Misfit Toys in Chapter 2. I also think Huggy's monster design is only a little bit different, because his eyes are either pure black or at least a hell of a lot more dilated than the current design. Other than that, there is very little to make note of. Other than that, let's see what the final product was like. I mean, we know what it's like at this point, but just stick with me for this one. Right away, the game sets itself away from others with an opening VHS tape about the, quote, most incredible doll in the world. I know there was a different opening that is basically just the same, but, like, a little higher quality. The person on the tape is still supposed to be Elliot Ludwig, I'm pretty sure. The only merit I have to this theory is that he kind of sounds the same as what we know Elliot Ludwig looks like. This tape in general is pretty great and sets the mood of the chapter, showing some unsettling imagery of a bunch of hollow doll heads being made, and our only footage of an active factory floor, cutting to what looks deep into the factory, with a poppy door indicating we need to find a flower. We also have a note from someone still in the factory saying, "We're still here," in incorrect grammar. With that, we enter the factory. Entering the factory, the ambience is extremely eerie and silent, similar to the first, Bendy Chapter 1 game. We have no idea what is in store for us. We enter a keypad and get our first grab hack hand. This becomes a vital part of the chapter and the game going forward later on. And we can open the door leading to the little atrium area. We continue on and find the primary enemy, Huggy Wuggy, of this chapter, stood perfectly still in the centre of the room. On a first look, you'd think he is some sort of statue or something, warning you of what's going to be on later in the chapter, with another version of him yet to come. But if you take a closer look, you can see Huggy breathing and in and out slowly. Why he doesn't kill us now, I don't know, but still. Anyway, the key aspect of the chapter is the puzzles. So from here to now, we have to solve a bunch of puzzles to progress through the chapter. It's also probably worth mentioning Huggy has disappeared from his spot next time we enter into that area. So, bad news, we're dead. This, among other atmospheric scares, shows Huggy is stalking us through the factory. We turn on a claw machine thing and get our red hand with fun final power puzzle in the make a friend room. We make our toy required to exit the room and supposedly go back to the innovation wing. From what the walls around us look like, it's leading that way, but then I think it's just common knowledge at this point that the best part of this chapter is the vent chase at the very end of the game. We are chased into the vents by Huggy Wuggy, now fully ready to strike after stalking us the entire chapter. We think we are safe before we realise he's in the vent with us, crawling very fast on an unknown path, most likely leading towards us. Where this chase deviates from other chases in the genre, every path we take, there is a possibility he will appear right in front of us. Doors will also slam in our face, or paths becoming unusable, meaning we will have to erratically take another path before he drags us back and bites our head off with a loud jump scare. This chase objectively changed the entire indie horror genre for the better or worse, you tell me. Small developers trying their best to replicate this chase, but not particularly understanding what made it so horrifying in the first place. The closest anything has come to my knowledge is the Indigo Park chase scene, because the mechanics of the trampolines and different paths make it so horrifying. Whatever you want to say about that game and how it feels similar to parts of Poppy Chapter 3, but that's really a tale for another day. We barely evade his grasp and plummet down a slide with Huggy hot on our trail. We pull down a wooden crate and knock Huggy down into the depths of the factory, to be seen in another chapter. Continuing on, and we find another VHS tape about Experiment 1006 and how something horribly wrong is happening in the factory, no doubt caused by him. The tape ends with the head scientist being cut out by one of the monsters, most likely being killed. We continue on, and oddly enough, we find what looks like a nice family home, supposedly made by Elliot Ludwig for him and his daughter, because his wife left him. I miss my wife, Poppy. Deep inside, we find Poppy fast asleep in a wooden case, opening, and it cuts to black.
You opened my case.
Overall, I think this shows Poppy Playtime Chapter 1 was a true game changer in the indie horror genre. From this point on, games having big, colourful creatures walking around environments that don't really fit in really became a popular set thing that just comes out all the time now. I haven't played Chapter 2 and only know about weirdly caked up cat monsters, but everything I remember from Joyville was just not that great. It's so desperately trying to be Poppy Chapter 1 and fails dramatically. There's also, that other one. But other than that, I think that's me done. See ya.